stuffs it in the belly, stuffs it under in where the neck is, and then she'll lift the skin a bit underneath where the legs are, up along by the breast, and then she'll stuff all that area, and then she bases it. She likes lots of stuffing.
That's where I get my fingers in there between the skin and the meat, and kind of get air pockets in there. And then that's where I put my garlic and butter and herbs and all of that, and get everything lathered.
Oh wow, that's different.
Yeah,
that sounds.
Stuffing goes into the belly and that kind of thing.
Now, what type of stuffing do you use?
The cornbread. And
okay.
So and so we do that, and then it's delicious, absolutely delicious. And so well, I think it is anyway. But we have some that are like, well, I want the stuffing not in the bird, and I'm like, that's insane. Why? And then that's how I like it. And I'm like, whatever, you're missing all the flavor from it. I like the stuffing that's inside the bird.
So, yeah, I've actually had it both kinds, different years, and it is not because one year we fried the turkey instead of oven baking it, and because it was good, but we didn't have that stuffing that was cooked in the bird.
Right. Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's such a beautiful. Yeah, it's such a beautiful flavor when you put it in the bird.
Yes. And my mom, she's always done the box stuffing. And so I grew up on that. I'm used to it. I love it. When I've had the cornbread stuffing, to me, it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
But I mean, I grew up on
you can make the box stuffing yourself too. And so just decide what kind of bread that you want. And then so if you want some rye, you could mix the rye with another type of bread. And then you'd even add a third type of bread. That's what a lot of them do. A pumpernickel and that kind of thing. And then just dry the bread yourself and then cube it and put whatever herbs and stuff you want in it. It'll taste like a box stuffing.
I'll tell you another type of stuffing. My daughter, I don't prefer it that much. My daughter-in-law goes nuts over it, but she was raised on what they call a wet stuffing. She makes the stuffing with potatoes, mashed potatoes.
Oh, really? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, but she really plugs the bird, and I can handle it. That's where you get your potatoes instead of cooking potatoes to the side. Well, it's already done in the bird as a stuffing.
I don't know. I like to do
the bird
with just the stuffing and then mix my stuffing with my mashed. Like I do like that. The stuffing and mashed potatoes in one bite. So I get the appeal of it, but I like it better because then I like it my way better. I don't know if I'd like it.
Yeah.
Now I'm reading some people in the chat, and also how some people are doing giblet gravy. What about y'all? Y'all do get a giblet gravy as well?
I don't do giblet gravy, but I do the gravy.
I don't either.
When all the juices and everything from the bird are done and at the bottom, that's what I make my gravy out of.
Yeah.
And so if you have gluten allergies or anything like that, you can use cornstarch, and then you won't have to use flour. So just FYI.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is because some people could be, can't have gluten, right? And cornstarch, they can use cornstarch over flour.
Yeah.
Hogs 14 is saying nope, that goes to the cats.
Yeah, no, Garen would fight the cats for it.
All America, he likes the giblet gravy. And the last Thanksgiving, his mom was laying in the bed telling me how to make it.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have wrote it down. Because there were some things she was telling me, and it was every time I forgot what she just said, I'd go back over. Mom, what was that? How much of this? How much of that?
Yeah.
I can't handle liver.
We had our Festivus for the rest of us for the community and extended community yesterday, and it was really funny. So I made my banana delight. It's like a banana pudding, but there's a cheesecake layer and a crust and that kind of thing. And I made the long pan, not half pans, but the full pan. I made a full pan of that, and so 2 batches. and the pan was clean. I just got to throw away the pan. And then everybody was like, I need that recipe. I need that recipe. And I'm like, y'all have had this before. For some reason, it just hit the spot last night, I guess. And so they had that. So I had to put the recipe out on Discord. So anybody that's watching, it is in the food and kitchen section in Discord. So you can go there and grab that recipe. If you sell the recipe, I'm going to hurt you. But and if you bring it to a gathering, I'm going to hurt you because that's my go-to. So,
Are you going to put it in your cookbook?
yes, it's supposed to go in the cookbook. And that's why I keep telling everybody they can't, you have to guard this with your life. But
I don't want no recipes until I get the cookbook.
well, now I'm kind of thinking I have to put everything in Discord because then it's already typed up and I can just paste and copy and do all of that because that was pretty easy to put it into Discord. I was surprised. So, but I've got half my computer. It's like done. I got the other half written. Jonathan said he would help me, but I feel so bad because my grammar and, I get in a hurry. So there's scratches through things and there's, I just said, oh, I didn't like that. So I added this and then you have to go back and I don't know. It just looks like crap. Little embarrassed. I handed it over to somebody well educated, right? And then they're like, what in the hell? I know you went to school. And I'm like, I know, but you have to remember I'm standing over the stove and I'm, it's fast. It's not organized. So I don't know. But at some point it'll get there.
It'll get there.
But
it'll get there.
As soon as I have, like, now the holidays are here and it's just near impossible. Like today, if you looked at my house, you wouldn't think I got anything done, but I've literally been busy and, getting, I had to get my bed stripped and then get everything washed. And then I needed to get the table linens washed. And then we had mud on the floor. I needed to get that done and get that out of the way and that kind of thing. And then the stupid dogs, it's been windy, so we can't burn. Stupid dogs are getting in the trash. And so you wake up and there's freaking trash all over the place. So then I got to clean that up. And then, and it's not their fault. It's just, it is where it is, but I can't put it outside because at least I can control it here with the dogs. If I put it outside, the critters out there are going to have it strung out all over the road and all over the property. So pick and choose your battles, right? And then, but then getting things prepped and ready to go because tomorrow is the big, start cooking and prepping and doing all that stuff to get everything ready. And then, because the turkey's got to go in, I'll put that in Wednesday evening so that it's ready Thursday. We usually eat around noon, 1 o'clock, somewhere in there. Yeah. And so, it goes in the night before. And then, so I got to start getting all that stuff done. Well, now I went out. So G ran a part and all of that because I was trying to get everything ready to go. And then we had our commitment tonight. So Garen ran a truck part to Hacks so that he can fix my truck first thing in the morning. So now I got to figure out a gap. I got to go to the feed. I got to go to Co-op and get feed. And then I'm going to have to take a little break tomorrow because I just saw the cats are out of cat food. And I might be able to squeeze them through tomorrow. So they're hunters. So I'm kind of hoping I can. And that'll help me. So I at least what I'm thinking is I'll just do everything backwards. And tomorrow will be the mega house scrub day. And then that way, Wednesday before the kids come in, I'm cooking. I got everything ready. And I can just kind of do like a light cleanup. I don't know. I have this plan. But it's not going to go according to plan. I just need to figure out how to be flexible and know I got to do stuff because G has to work. So, and then hopefully we'll get our truck back tomorrow so that we can go get feed on Wednesday. So I don't know. We'll see.
I'm going to Costco's. I'm going to Costco's Wednesday. I think I've been to Costco's with my daughter once, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, because I don't usually go shopping much. So I asked her if she could take me shopping because I want to get all my bulk food, my flour and all that for the winter.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to just go down a little ways down where I normally go. And she texted me back tonight and says, Mom, you want to go to Costco's? I said, well, where are you going? Down to the Aurelia or up to the Sudbury? Sudbury's 2 hours. Aurelia's an hour. She said, we're going to Aurelia. Can you be ready for 8 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning? I said, yep, I'll be ready. Animals will be fed and I'll be sitting on the doorstep waiting for you.
Everybody in America, do not panic. She is up in Canada. Their Thanksgiving is not the same day as ours, right, Lucy? That's correct.
No,
right?
ours was in October.
Yeah,
it's always around the 12th.
Yeah, well, everybody in America is listening to you, and everybody is panicking, going, "No, Lucy, save yourself! Don't go!" Because everybody knows try not to go to the store right before Thanksgiving. Man, it's a madhouse. You just drive yourself
But the
insane.
thing is I don't need to go to the store when I go to Thanksgiving for Thanksgiving because it's my daughter that holds Thanksgiving, and
Uh-huh.
she has everything all prepped ahead of time and done. So when we walk, like this last time she did for Thanksgiving, it's a family thing. We all got together, all the grandkids, and I gave her a bunch of material because she's very creative.
Uh-huh.
And she made all these games up, and she went and got 30 bales of hay.
Yeah.
Where we could sit on. Some of the hay was for the games. She had a putting area. She had a ring toss area. Then she took little tiny pumpkins,
Uh-huh.
right? The pie pumpkins. And because she grew them in her garden. So she pulled them out of the garden. She had a whole container full of them. And we had to roll them. And she had pop bottles filled up with water. And it was bowling, right?
Oh,
So
Yeah.
we had, and then
good.
oh, you
That's
should have seen all the
funny.
games she had. And
That's
we had to go, and this one game that they were playing, they couldn't, my youngest son, him and his partner, they won every game on that one game because everybody had to take a turn on all the games, right?
Yeah.
And then you add points. And then at the end, she had prizes for whoever got the most points for this game, that game, whatever, right? So
Yeah.
it was, a lot of fun. And then she put on the big dinner. I got tons of pictures. I did a video of them all, and it was really nice. And
That
it's
sounds
funny
like
because
fun.
my one daughter, we're all sitting at she made this big long table, and we're all sitting on hay bales around this table. Of course, I had to kind of crawl in and crawl my legs in through and try and lift myself up to sit right properly the way it was. It was freaking funny. But my youngest daughter, she turned around and she says, "Okay, everybody, let's start doing they do a little saying what we're thankful for." So all the grandkids and everybody, all the way around this table, and there's 22 people, and they're all saying something, what they're thankful for and all this and that. And when it came my turn, of course, because of tag, "Okay, Terminator, let her rip." And then they start giving all these comments about the Terminator and they tease me every time.
My mom and dad were asking about you too. I talked to them yesterday, and they watched the ladies' night live, and they were like, "So tell me about the older lady." I said, "Oh, the Terminator," and they were like, "Yeah." And so I had to explain to them where you were and what you were doing. They were just amazed, absolutely amazed at everything that you do. They were like, "Wow!" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "She's tough now. You know why we call her the Terminator." But yeah. So
My granddaughter, she's my oldest granddaughter. She's 20. I said to her and her boyfriend, I said, "Well, you guys want to go on a trip next year?" And Elizabeth says, "Why, Grandma? Where are you going?" I said, you can drive. I don't have to do the driving." I said, "How would you like to go on a 2-week vacation?" She says, "Where to?" And then I told her, and she says, "Well, if you rent a car, you pay for the rental for 2 weeks." She says, "I'll drive you where you want to go."
nice.
I said, "Okay." She says, "I don't want to take my car down there. I don't want to lose it down there and somebody steal it or something."
Right.
And then I said to her, I said, "The only thing is you got to remember when you get over that borderline, right?
Mm,
You're in America, you're in the States, you're not in Canada,
right.
and you can't drive 70 kilometers an hour like I did." And I had everybody passing me when I was up in Michigan. And she says, "What do you mean?" I said, "It's 70 miles an hour, not kilometers. And it's a lot faster, believe me."
Especially once you get into Kansas, like if you come through Illinois, depending on like how you're going to get here, if you come through Illinois, Illinois is slow, so you'll be fine there. But yeah, once you get to Kansas,
I could go through Detroit that way, or I can go through Michigan, because Michigan and Sault Ste. Marie meet. And that's where I went over the border to Coiton Casino, because my uncle and an elderly lady had won. My uncle had won Keno $50,000, and so I wouldn't go to Toronto, which I hate that city. So I went to the north where you can cash it. Then they
Mhm.
wanted to go over to the border. Well, I went over the border, but I tell you, coming back, I didn't know until I got home, and I was sure scared when you see all them guards and everything with their guns and everything. My uncle had cartons and cartons of Camel tobacco cigarettes piled
Yeah.
under the driver's seat, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
So if I would have got caught with that, I would have been up shit creek, right?
Right. Yeah.
He tells me after, the day after, and it's a 6 hour, because that border is 6 hours from where I live. It's a
Oh,
6 hour drive.
yeah. So where are you going on your 2-week vacation? Are you coming here? You
Uh-huh.
gonna do the Midwest camp out? Are you?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
All right.
I'll let you know.
We'll figure out. Joel Salatin will be speaking if you come in the spring. And so
Yeah, and I heard about that.
yeah.
What days is it on? May what?
Let's see. Okay, he's doing the personal day on May 7th. And then
Okay.
so that's something different. And then so he'll be speaking Friday and Saturday. So the 8th and 9th. Is that right? Yeah.
Okay.
So because
Yeah.
I know Tag has them for one day, and then that's a personal engagement, community engagement, and then the camp out, he's planning on being there. And speakers start, they do have some on Thursday, but speakers start Friday and Saturday. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
he's one of the big headliners. I think Billy Bond's coming out too. So Billy will be here again.
So everybody will be there.
Yep. And so now Billy, oh my gosh, if he's there, try to stick around when we're all together, because personal
Okay.
friends, everybody, he's a hoot. I mean, he's just gonna have you laughing so hard. You might bring some pads or protection or something, because you'll be peeing your pants. I'm not lying. He's so funny.
Oh, we got to wear them Depends. Those Depends.
Right. Or just make sure don't have a lot of fluid in your body until after. But yeah, he'll have you rolling. He's so funny. Cracks me up. All right, so you guys ready to play WROL now that we're caught up? Is everybody?
Oh, let's try it.
All
Yep.
right.
Let's go for it.
Okay, so we've
And I'll behave.
You're fine. So I'm sure now that we know what's going on and everything was announced, it's going to be hard for anybody to bite their tongue with this game tonight. And that's okay. Just say what you need to say, because quite frankly, they need to hear it. They need to know how mad we are, because for some reason there's delusion that we're all okay with everything they're doing. There's a lot of discussion, let's put it that way, about the first fight is power, and that's not necessarily, as I was told, not necessarily electricity. So you need to think of that in many, many forms. They're focusing on power, and they are focusing on water. And so y'all better make sure your water situation is taken care of, and you're focus on where you're getting your energy from and that kind of thing, right? And watch the government and watch everything that happens. They need to be kept under a microscope. So that being said, I think that I don't know anybody's going to hold their tongue right now. And so I will let you know, we do have some deck of cards. Remember, they come with I think they're still coming with the straws, so the life straws, so that you can drink water from any source there. And we have words. I think Ashley counted them and said there's quite a few. So you'll have 9 chances at least minimum to win a deck of cards tonight. And out of those 9 words, we're only going to do 2 decks of cards. So the first people that get the word, first 2 that get the word, you're the ones that get the package. You will need to email me or Garen, one of the 2, at the Real Grumpy Acres Farm at gmail.com. You can find it right down on our Facebook, on our YouTube channel. So the about information, you can find it. And then just go ahead and email us your address. We will get them over to JD, and JD will direct ship them to you. So, all right, let us get started.
Let it rip.
All right, here we go. I'm going to start with this one. We're going to go straight into World War III. Let's see. Oh, I may have to turn on another light. In 2031, as World War III rages on, You are a negotiator working to establish a temporary truce between two warring factions in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for the safe passage of refugees. You uncover a plot by one faction to use the truce as a cover to infiltrate the enemy territory and assassinate their leadership. Exposing this scheme saves lives, but would also put the refugees' passage at risk and undermine your credibility as a neighbor. How would you manage this ethical
Oh, well, big
predicament
one.
and take actions to secure the safety of the innocent? I'm going to turn another light on because I'm having a hard time reading these.
Okay.
That
Go
was
ahead.
a long one.
Yeah, it really
Wow.
was. What do you
Huh.
think, Lucy?
Well, refugees. If I didn't have, if I was by myself and I didn't have a family to worry about, and I'm out there to help refugees, and I uncovered all this,
Well,
what was all this plotting and everything, or whatever it was that she, because there's so many words she read. I'm old. My brain don't listen that fast anymore. But
basically, you find out. So
I would go ahead.
basically, you're finding out that one. So you're trying to do a truce between two parties, and you find out that
Yeah.
the one party is only accepting the truce because they're going to use this as an opportunity to assassinate their leader, and so they're going to kill their leader. Now, if you expose this and do all of that, then you're putting the refugees' passage at risk. They're definitely not going to make it through. However, you're going to save multiple lives on the other side. But your credibility as a neighbor is going to be bad. So your neighbors are not going to trust you with anything from there on out. Yeah.
I got neighbors here I can't stand anyways. I got a redhead on one side and new ones that moved in and's got cows and goats and everything moved into my one of my friends that moved away sold her house and they're in there and we got to keep an eye on them for trespassing on our property during hunting season. So
Well,
but then
you
I do
can't
have
trespass anybody, Lucy, in this scenario. So I don't know.
you can't you can't trust nobody. To me, I don't trust nobody. That's the
I said
problem.
trespass. You can't trespass anybody in this scenario. So in this
No,
scenario,
I know.
I'm trying to drive you back to the question.
I know. I'm not. No, I would not. Well, if I would, they would use it to kill their leader. But then what would happen? You know what I mean? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Is their leader a good person or a bad person?
Depends on
Or do
which
they
side.
want to, whoever they are, do they want to be in charge instead of their leader? Right. And
Yeah.
then if you do that, then they could be worse than their leader was. Right.
I mean, yeah, that's that what if situation. You know, you just never know. And what do they say? Hindsight is always 20/20.
Oh,
You just don't know. So
yeah.
That's right. You're taking a chance.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So
How about you, little Miss Prepper?
I'm almost like the same thing with Lucy there. I mean, you got the what if. I mean, you got that one is kind of on the hard side. And also in the chat, as you was redoing everything, so it was like squirrel, and so I was like, that is so funny because I was thinking the same thing. It's like, what's this? I can't get distracted so easily.
Oh my god.
I don't think there's any safe passage no matter what, right? I don't think there's any safe passage no matter what, because you're going to piss somebody off one way or the other, whoever it is, whatever side, you're going to piss somebody off and it's still going to be a problem one way or the other.
Yeah.
Sure. And you know what I go back to? So what I keep thinking about is I keep thinking about like some of the foreign wars where you've had interpreters, and you've had people and that have been there that are trying to be the peacekeepers and trying to get the truce and all of that stuff to happen between the two parties. Quite frankly, some people just can't be rationed with. So I'm not sure that that would be a job I would even put myself in line for, just because I don't think I would be safe anywhere. And so, except for home and with my community, right? And so
I agree 100% with you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not sure. I think my concern would be is that if I did not tell somebody about, hey, here's what's happening and do something about it, my concern would be you're instead of bringing a truce and trying to get people together, essentially what you're doing is you are, how do I put it? I mean, if that happens, and it's going to start another war. I mean, it's just going to get worse, right? I mean, I think in reality, we can turn around, we can look at what's going on right now. And I think you can really take Ukraine and Russia and all of that. You have somebody who is trying to keep peace and trying to get everything calmed down and all of that. And for a little bit, it looked like it was going to calm down. And now all of a sudden it escalated. And now everybody's thinking we're going to be in World War III, they say, before Christmas. And so, because that's what
I believe it.
Yeah, well, that's what Putin is saying. And so they're just repeating his hot rhetoric, you know. He gets mad and gets on the vodka, and all of a sudden, you know, the world's coming to an end. So, I don't know. It's a tough one. I think on that one, I would just use my gut feeling, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But again, like
Yes,
I
it
said,
does.
I wouldn't put myself in that situation. So that's not a job for me. I've seen too many things go bad. But that's probably my age. A 20-something, 30-something may tell you something different, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah. Em's right. Cold to hot, quick like. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, just depends on what he's feeling at the time, I guess. And it doesn't help that Biden wants to leave Trump with a handful of garbage too. So then everything can be Trump's fault, and Biden's administration did a great job. All right, so let's move on. Terrorism, violence, and thought crimes. All right. So on October 5th, 2029 in Richmond, Virginia, a gunman takes hostages in a local television station during a live broadcast. A nearby camera operator must decide whether to continue filming the event, potentially providing valuable information to law enforcement, or either taking shelter or escaping to save himself. If you were the camera operator, would you keep filming or would you try to save your own life?
Keep filming.
Why?
Because it could help get those hostages out, hopefully. And they didn't say in the scenario what age group these hostages were. Maybe there's
news, right? So it's a news broadcast. So, I mean, just if you look at TV right now, let's see, ranges, but well, some of them look like they're 12 to me. So I don't know. Straight out of college, all the way up into their 50s.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Does that change anything in your answer, or do you still do it?
I would still do it. Maybe if I'm in a dangerous spot, maybe try to go to a different location, a safer location where I could still also get a camera shot angle and help out to be able to get the hostages out.
She's after you.
Oh my God.
Okay. Anyway.
MSNBC is actually, there's a rumor out there, they are looking to be sold, and somebody else is going to buy them apparently and change their name. So yay, we'll get more undercover, nasty broadcasting systems to tell more fake lies that we can't figure out what is true and what's not.
Yeah.
So, yes,
I was just wondering about the broadcasting when they got the camera running, right?
Yeah.
If you're able to just leave it there and have it running, right? And filming everything, and it's live broadcasting, I would just do that and go and hide. and let them continue hearing it as it's going playing through. But then you're protecting yourself, but then you're also giving letting the information come out,
Okay.
right?
I thought of
Unless
that as
he's
well.
moving all over the place. You know how, because I used to watch CSI and all that years ago. Unless they, the ones that are in there are holding the hostages, unless they're moving, back and forth, and depending on how many there is, right, and where they're all located, right.
Yeah.
But if it's just in one newsroom in one section, leave the camera running and take refuge. And maybe they don't realize it because they're doing all their yakking and everything. Maybe they don't realize it's still running and it's still being broadcast. You know what I mean? And they don't know how to shut nothing off, right? Unless they shoot the shit out of it.
Yeah, I thought that as well. Yeah, I thought that as well.
Okay. So that's both your answers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me throw this at you. First of all, let me put myself
She's so good.
into the position of the ones we're protesting, we're mad, we're going in, we're going to go ahead and take hostages. There's a purpose for that, right? So what's your purpose? Your purpose is that you haven't been heard, and it is time to start speaking out, and you're going to hear us one way or the other. They're probably, well, I don't know. In my group anyway, they are not there to kill anybody, right? But the one thing that I am going to do, I would never let one camera person who can operate that camera out of sight. Those camera people stay put right where they are, because the people running the camera, they are the only ones that can make sure that what you want to say and what you want to be known is going to get out to the public.
Yeah.
Right? So once again, I mean, it puts you into that position where you kind of, you're gonna, there's no winning situation. I think you could take light in the area that I don't think they're going to be there to kill you. Well, I mean, unless it's Antifa, but if Antifa or somebody like that comes in, they're not there. They want to get their stupid message out, but the stupidity and get all that out there. But most likely they're just going to destroy everything and do all of that. So I think if anybody was going to do that, it's more likely to get a message out and figure out how to make their group and their people heard. So just kind of my opinion. I don't know. Does that change anybody's answer, or y'all stay the same?
I think stay the same, maybe.
Stay the same? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no. That's pretty good. 3 totally different answers. So, but all right, let's go into natural and man-made disasters. So on October 14th, 2032 in Los Angeles, California, a powerful solar storm disrupts global communication networks, causing widespread panic. Amid the confusion, your home is invaded by a group of armed police officers trying to confiscate your emergency supply. They claim it's to help their community and that they're acting under emergency orders, so they don't have any documentation to show you. Would you comply or stand up to them?
I'd stand up to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I got to think of me and my own family or my, my community where I'm at, whatever it is. I would stand up to them. They're not going to get my stuff. Heck with them. They should have been prepared.
Okay.
Yeah.
You too, Ashley?
Yeah.
You remember my comment? Was it
Uh-oh.
last week?
We're in trouble again, Ashley.
No, not at all. I absolutely agree with you, because we are actually going to have this fight in our nation. And so if you go and you look at an EMP situation and you look at the national guidelines and what they're doing, and I said it before, I stand by it. Hopefully everybody went and did the research and saw and read it and understand it. Yeah, their plan is we are their safety. We are their emergency supply. anybody who's canning, anybody who's prepping, anybody who
Yeah.
is farming, anybody who is ranching, anybody doing any of that. We are America's plan as an emergency backup. I am not okay with this. I'm going to fight this tooth and nail. I too would stand up, but know that that comes with consequences. So
That's
there's
right.
that. So you're going to have to make your own decision on this. And, when it comes to that situation, I hope me, my children and grandchildren never have to see it.
Well-
Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to.
Yeah. Well, see, I've had a kind of a bit of experience with that because of what we privately talked about earlier.
Sure.
I had to face the same ones when they came here,
Mhm.
and I actually told this is my words. Hopefully, it doesn't offend anybody. But when they came on and they were yapping their mouth, I looked at them and I said, "Do you have a search warrant?
Mhm.
Do you have probable cause? Do you have paperwork?" And then, because if you don't, get the fuck off my property. And I turned around and said, if Prime Minister Trudeau walked on here and tried the same thing, I'd tell him to get the fuck off my property. You got
Sure.
no probable cause.
Right.
Leave now. And boy, they sure left. They got off the property. I stood right up. I wasn't backing down.
Yeah.
And I had like several incidents that way, and me being accused of certain things because I gave the finger, which is, I got given rights to use that finger anytime I want. It's the longest finger in my hand. And oh yeah, they wanted to arrest me, and I said, "Here, take care. Put the cuffs on
Yeah.
right now. Take me right now. Because if
Yeah.
you don't, you got no probable cause. Get the hell off my property."
Sure.
There's a big sign out there that says no trespassing. Get lost. And I
Yeah.
didn't say it nicely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you're going to have to. I mean, you're going to have to stand your ground, and that's it. But also, we know here, especially in America, through some things that have happened in recent history, no less, that standing your ground comes with consequences. And so it
Yep.
really does. And gosh, I wish I could remember that documentary. It's The Stand at something, and I cannot remember. I talked about it a long time ago. I went and watched it, and it was on that Amendment 13 to something. So, but anyway, you guys go find it. Somebody in here probably knows what I'm talking about, and then they can put it in there. All right, so let's move on to the next one. We're going to go government, yeah? On August 20th, 2031, in the devastated remnants of Tulsa, Oklahoma, the government has banned the production of and consumption of meat in order to follow a global climate agenda. You are a farmer who has recently raised a small number of animals to provide for your family and friends. You could share your knowledge and resources with others to help them access this now illegal source of nutrition, but doing so could put your own life and the lives of your family members at risk. You could also sell the meat on the black market and guarantee the financial future of your family. Another option would be to finally quit this way of living and comply with the government's mandate. What would you choose to do and why? I'm gonna have to
I would never comply. The way I'm living now, it's been my dream since I was a girl, since I watched the Beverly Hillbillies,
Yeah.
the old ways, and since when I was 15 and I drove through the states and went through the mountain, the Smoky Mountains, and that, and seen the people cooking over open fires, the ladies in their old-fashioned long dresses and everything, but just cooking out in the open.
Yeah.
That's the way of life.
Yeah.
If I had to, I'd go way up north someplace and live in a teepee. It wouldn't bother me.
Yeah.
I'm going to build myself a wall of peony and go underground.
Okay. All right, Ashley.
Terminator was actually distracting me a lot while he was reading.
Oh.
Sorry.
She was showing me all her knives and swords and machete and
Yeah, you do kind of have to focus on them. So
yes, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Just watch my square and not
Okay.
hers. All right. On August 20, let's just say in August of 2031, in the redness of Tulsa, Oklahoma, the government has banned the production of consumption of meat in order to follow the global climate agenda. You are a farmer who has recently raised a small number of animals to provide for your family and friends. You could share your knowledge and resources with others to help them access this illegal source of nutrition, but doing so could put your own life and the lives of your family members at risk. You could also sell the meat on the black market and guarantee the financial future of your family. Another option would be to finally quit this way of living and comply with the government's mandate. Which would you choose to do and why?
I would not quit that way of living, that's for sure, and
Mm-hmm.
go for the government's way.
Yeah.
Spaz, you read that?
Yeah. Spag says, Did I hear swords? I'm here for the swords.
Okay. But yeah, I would definitely not go the government's way, but maybe even that some of that meat, of course, have some for my family and then some for selling for the black market to be able to pay for other things, maybe. Yeah.
So I would do totally different. I think that providing to other people that don't know what your resources are and that kind of thing can be very dangerous. So if you have, let's just say you have you have a herd of cattle, and most people usually have 40 head or they'll have 100 head. You're not seeing thousands of heads except for at a feedlot, right? And so anybody that's responsible and about regenerative farming and ranching. My concern would be that's not enough meat to go around. And if not every farmer or rancher is thinking the same way that I'm thinking, that's going to be very dangerous for you. And essentially, you're going to lose all of your meat. You'll never be able to reproduce. It takes a cow. So to breed that cattle, it takes 18 months before you get a good weight in order to be able to butcher. And so I just don't see how possibly you could do that. It's going to be your immediate community only. Even on black market. So black market also has another word for it. And they know it. Spags knows what I'm getting ready to say. I don't know if I can say it. Spags, can I say it? I'm going to say it. They've been trying to tax it anyway. I don't think they're ever going to get around it. Another word for black market is bartering. And so I would barter that out. And I would barter it and keep it limited to my community as close as I can. Somebody has something out there that I need. And so one of the goals that we've talked about, I absolutely agree with, like I said, for each piece of land for somebody who has something. So someone has the greenhouses and those are in full operation for the community. Somebody has the cattle, somebody has the hogs, somebody each has something. So we all have something to barter with. And if something fills at someone else's place, then we can always barter and get it from somewhere else. So yes, Specs is like, yes. And so
I love bartering.
Yeah. Baby oil optional. I don't know what they're talking about now. But
A baby oil.
I think it has something. Every government that bans things is comprised of corrupt bureaucrats who love those banned things. Become the Epstein of meat and get pictures of all the officials eating burgers with you. So I get it now. And so I mean that's kind of where I'm at, and it is black market. So I guess there you go. There's my answer. I would go black market, and black market you can absolutely keep it as small as you want. So it would just be for things
and with bartering too, it's it might not always be meat or it might not be vegetables. It might be something else, but then it'll, you can include that in some other way. I love bartering. I barter for everything if I can. And I would never comply with the government. I
Right.
don't now, and I'm not going to,
Yeah.
no matter what. Oh, look
Yeah.
at this, Tamra. You're gonna have to hide your animals, cattle, chickens, rabbits, etc. Well, the thing is, I'm not gonna hide them, but
No. No.
say if they take all my rabbits, I don't care because I can go hunt rabbit on my property. I can go snare rabbit. You know what I mean? I've
Mhm.
always got, and if I don't have the pork or the cow or the lamb or whatever, I've got
somebody-
bear, deer, moose,
Hey,
you name it, I got it on the property.
pause, Lucy, for just a second, please. So I have something on my mind. I'm gonna let Lucy finish, and then I have something on my mind. You guys know that I talk about this all the time. It is the only way to fight back and make it work and make sure that you don't starve. The first person that can say the word that is getting ready to come out of my mouth, what is the most important thing for you to build? First person, you get a deck of cards.
Community.
Who said
Lucy.
it? Yeah.
Community.
Yep. All right. So the first person who can type it in. Nope. There you go. Rabbiton, you already win deck of cards.
Yes.
Come on, man. So, but yeah, it's important. So go ahead and finish, Lucy. So how are you so if you can't hide animals, how are you going to, because you can't, it's not possible. So how
No,
are you
you
going
can't.
to how are you going to protect those animals?
Well,
Lucy,
I'm gonna put a fight up. I know that one way or the other. I'm gonna put a fight up. But no, my family, oh, my daughter would be here in a hot flash, and she'd have her rifle ready. She's a one shot. She wouldn't think twice.
Yeah.
When it comes to food, community, and family's number one with her. So I've
Tamara,
got
I've
even
got
my
your address
sons.
and we'll
I've
get
got
that
fighters. My
updated.
community.
Yeah.
The thing is, yeah, but the thing is I don't like, I talk with you guys, but I don't really advertise what I have
Yeah.
out there in my area. I don't advertise of what I raise or and you might have noticed that I don't put a lot on YouTube as much anymore, because I did have a family member that was interfering with my YouTube, and I just kind of sit back,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll put the odd video out, but I don't show everything that I have here. I don't anymore, just for my protection and my family protection.
Yeah.
So
And you got to do that. You got to think of.
yeah. So basically, what we're doing is we're building community, and we're looking at expanding and doing all of that. Now, everybody in your community, do they have the same state of? We're gonna. I want to make sure I say this politely, because we're gonna find out.
Same
at
same
our
state of
next
mind.
meeting. No, not everybody thinks the same in politics, and that can get a little messy. But building community, you figure out what you can live with, what you can't live with. But you try to bring in as many people that are like-minded like you, and just want to be left the hell alone. And so when you can do that, you can control thousands of acres, and you can fight in 5 different counties and have members of your community from 5 different counties, and have people continue to move in and replace those homes that are being sold, so that like-minded people are getting in there, and not woke people, right? And so
Yeah.
so then they get in there, and so then what happens is then you start controlling the local government by your votes, and doing that and stepping up and bouncing up against them, and then you let them know you're going to have one hell of a time coming after us, and they'll figure it out. It takes a little bit, but they figure it out, and they're going to fight back, and we know this, and they are. And so they're going to fight back, but I guarantee you we won't be the first ones that they start coming after our cattle and our sheep and our goats and our chickens and ducks and geese and all that stuff. It's not going to happen because they know that we have enough neighbors and we have enough people around us. They won't get in. They won't be able to get in.
Yeah.
There's not enough of them. So there's that. Community is important in more ways than one. So and you're not building YouTube chill out. You're not building a militia to go take over the world. what you're doing is you're building a community, you're a mutual support system, right? People that have each other's backs. That's what you're doing.
When
Yeah.
you said take over the world, it reminded me of Pinky and the Brain,
Yeah.
the little cartoon. Because Brain always wanted to take over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's happening. And so, only it's a, I don't know. It's kind of like Wizard of Oz. You can't see who Oz is, but he's there. He's there.
Yeah, don't look behind the curtain.
Right. Right. All right, let's head into religion. Okay, on February 1st, 2027, in the devastated landscape of Denver, Colorado, a religious community has managed to create a safe haven amidst the chaos. However, they strictly enforce their dogma, and any deviation from their beliefs is met with severe punishment. You discover that your child has been secretly practicing a different faith, putting your family at risk. Ooh, tough. Do you confront your child and force them to conform, or support their freedom to explore their beliefs, even if it endangers your family? I think that's real simple for me. I'm going to go ahead and answer that. That's real simple for me. I wouldn't belong to a religious cult like that anyway. So,
what would you have your child do, though, if they were doing it secretly?
I think if I found that out, I'd probably beat the crap out of them and ask them what the hell is wrong with them. And then if they backtalk me, I'd say, fine. Then you don't like what I'm telling you. You don't like what's going on. You're not going to compromise this family. Go live with them. Because I think at that
I just tell them to go out. I tell them to go out the door, and don't let it hit you in the ass on the way out.
Right. I think at that point, if they're doing that, they're putting the rest of your family at risk. How many more kids do you have? How many more people do you have that are sitting on your property that are helping out and all that? Yeah. Look, LP. Yeah. Ass whoopings for everyone. Yeah. Right. And so, you just tell them, get the hell out. And, look, I'm different. My kids are grown, and I had that conversation with my daughter. She was 18 years old, giving me lip and everything else and not wanting to follow rules and do all of that. If you don't like it, go. These are my rules. This is the respect that I demand. And if you don't like it, move out. And so
I've had that with my oldest daughter. Yep.
Yeah. And so I think that is the conversation that I would have. So, but that's just me. So how about you, Little Miss Prepper?
I would actually probably a little bit the same. I'll be like, hey, well, my child is a son. So, hey, son, I don't like what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think you're not doing good for that. And you're making the whole rest of the family, putting all of us in jeopardy. You need to rethink this. And of course, I mean, by then they're probably like, if over 18 or whatever, then they can, like you said, go ahead and move out then if you ain't going to do this.
Right. Yeah, especially amidst chaos like that, that's just not a good idea. Not a good idea. But that being said, it's not a good idea, but we have to remember, in that kind of chaos of everything that's going on, that is when a lot of these groups form. That's when that's what they're looking for. The cults are looking for the people that need somebody, and the people that are hurting for something, and that kind of thing. They need love. They need to get cleaned up. They need to get off the streets. They need to, there's just all kinds of worst case scenarios, and those are the people that they take in. And so they give them what they think they need. And when in reality, they've brainwashed them and they're doing all kinds of weird crap that they shouldn't be doing.
That's like when my kids were growing up and they were just in public school at the time. And they came home one day and I told them, I had rules set. And they usually always did it. As soon as they got home, all homework was done. They had to go do their chores, blah, blah, blah. And they looked at me when they came in, threw their coats on the floor and everything. And, well, we don't have to listen to you. And I said, excuse me? That was the worst thing they could have said to me. Because I turned around and I said, and who told you that well, we were told by our teachers that the government told us that we had rights and we don't have to listen to yous anymore. I said, excuse me? I said, well, you know what you can do then? I got them at that time. Make a phone call at the phone booth was a quarter. I handed them all a quarter. I went in my wallet, handed them all a quarter. I said, get your fucking asses up those stairs. And I said, start packing. What do you mean? Well, you don't want to listen to me and listen to my rules. You want to follow the government. I turn around and says, your teachers? I said, get up there. And they were hemming and hawing. I said, no. I grabbed them by the scruff of the neck, a couple of them, started tossing them, making them go up the stairs. And I started throwing clothes in bags. We turn around and I got them out on the porch. And I said, here, I kicked them in the ass. And I said, start walking. I said, they can do your cooking. They can do your cleaning. They can help you with your schoolwork. They can do this. They can do that. I said, you want to follow their rules and you don't want to stay with my rules? Get out, start walking. Go call them, get them to come and pick you up. They were all crying by then.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. So I think that's where we're at. Yeah, most kids are punks these days. Yeah, I mean, bushcraft. Most kids have been punks for generations. It's just getting more and more out of hand because, well, it's just more out of hand. Okay. So let's go to a bank run. On December 5th, 2027 in Boston, Massachusetts, a bank run has left your country's economy in shambles. You have lost your job and the prices of basic goods are going up by the day. Jobs are hard to come by. Everyone around you is struggling. What would you do to keep a roof over your head and food on your table? No, Miss Proper?
Probably go foraging. And he didn't say it either.
What about the roof over your head?
Well, I mean, I always do have tents. Always back, and we have plenty of tents. So I mean, that's always a roof over our head, even though it's not a hard roof.
Sure,
it's something. And you got to figure out how other things to live. I mean, being in what other people think is a normal style roof over their head doesn't always have to be something to help you get by.
Sure. Yeah. So I think LPs, like you're smack dab on the money. Prepare beforehand. And that's why we do these type of videos. That's why he does type of videos that he does, and other people do the videos they do, because we're all trying to get you guys to understand is that this crap is coming and it's coming down the line. And they keep telling us it's coming. They just, we just get to extend it out just a little bit more. Those people that got caught when COVID started and all of that, those people that got caught up in that, struggling for food, struggling to keep their jobs, can't afford gas, can't do all of that. The ones that were paying attention before had money in their safes. They had food put away. They had things put away and prepared for all of that. It didn't hit them as hard. And so, it hit in different ways, right? So I think Garen and I can answer that honestly. It just hit in a different way. And so I think that's very important. I think everybody needs to be preparing ahead. So how about you, Lucy? What would you do?
Same thing, preparedness. When COVID hit and we were locked down here and we weren't allowed to go here or there, or if we had to, we were only allowed for a certain length of time or whatever. I didn't really have to go anywhere because I had everything here.
Right.
And so I keep cans of fuel and everything ahead of time. But if I didn't have to go to a grocery store or anything, I didn't need to use fuel or burn fuel or whatever. I had everything here. No matter what it was, I had it here.
Yeah, Count Trumpulet's pretty bad. Yeah, North Carolina is pretty bad. And unfortunately, a lot of them lost a lot of their preps and they're just stuck. So, this is part of the sad thing. And my whole thing is that I think it's imperative that you set yourself up and you're prepared. You have enough food on hand. You've got enough, and overthink it because you're going to need stuff to barter with. You're going to need all of this. And so overthink it, get that stuff put away as much as you can. Start storing over at other community members' places as much as you can, so that you've got backup, so that if my house gets washed away, then I know I can go to Tags and I can get what I have stored there. Or I can go to, so-and-so and, get my stuff from there and that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
more than one place.
Your community members, right? And so you got to get that stuff going and getting that done. But LP, the goal of preparedness is to be able to sit back and watch the chaos, not be in the chaos. Exactly. I agree with that.
I guess that's why, we were doing that when the whole lockdown here, we were actually off having fun.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, we were actually riding a motorcycle around when everybody was all scared and locked in and everything.
Yeah.
We were out riding the motorcycle around. We went to the beach, and
I loved it. The stores were not crowded. They would go in, and like some of them hated me because I would go in and I would go shopping, and he had, remember the big banners that says your county has passed a mandatory mask mandate, et cetera, et cetera. You must comply, stand 6 feet back, and then wear your mask and all this other crap. And it was so funny because I would go in there and they're like, ma'am, you have to put a mask on, ma'am. And I'm like, I don't have to do crap. And I said, and that sign that you have hanging up there is illegal and unlawful and against my constitutional rights. I said, number one, our county does not have a mask mandate. We were in the state of Missouri at that time. Our county does not have a mask mandate. I said, so that is not true, and I'm not going to comply. And they said, well, you're going to have to leave the store. And I said, no, I won't. I said, you're going to have to kick me out. You will have to physically remove me. And I would go through the store and get everything that I wanted and what I needed and take my time. And, I'll be damned. I'd get to the cash register. They'd let me pay for what I wanted. And then I walked out. And so, it's just, you got to call their bluff. You just got to call their bluff. And it was little people that finally got some power. And they were trying to push everybody around because they knew most people were not going to stand up for themselves. And so anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But yes.
I just stayed away from everybody.
Oh, I didn't.
I was happier on my property.
I didn't. And then, so I was just like, we still got together. We had Christmas parties. We did Thanksgivings together.
Oh, yeah.
We did, we still did everything. Yeah. We didn't change our lifestyle. And so,
no.
Until the shot mandate came out, and then we changed it because we stood up for what we believed in, and we were like, fine, quit our jobs and moved on. And so we were like, we're not doing it. You're not forcing me. So anyway, Rabbit got kicked out of Wally World twice for wearing my plague doctor mask. They said it was scaring the children. See, I wouldn't even have done that. But it's funny. I get it. And I've seen those. And so, I've seen people walking around with them. But I don't know. Mrs. Hacks, she would have had her job made it mandatory. They had to wear a mask. Well, she couldn't breathe. And she kept telling them, she's like, I can't wear this thing. So they were like, we got to do something. You got to wear some kind of face mask. So she's like, fine. So she took lace and then made one so you could see through it. And it was like not even a mask. And it was okay until somebody said something and then they wrote her up and she said, I'm not doing this. There's no county mandate for this. I'm not doing it. And she lost her job. They fired her.
Oh, wow.
Yep. But she got unemployment. So they ended up losing in the end. So anyway.
I thought it was funny a few times getting gas for the motorcycle. I would have my helmet on, and I just leave my helmet on and the shield down, and they're like looking at me kind of weird, and I'm like, "Hey, this is my mask."
Yeah, no, I loved it. Like I said, traffic was light, and so you just go anywhere you want, and
and the beaches were empty, so we had a blast at the beach.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember one time. Who was I with? Might have been my mom. No, and Andrew. I was with some family and friends. And it was really funny. We went like Cockrell Mercantile in Lone Jack is like my favorite place. Like if you have a kitchen addiction, do not go there. But if you do and you can afford it, go there. It's like awesome. And so we went there. I go in the main store. I shop, no problem. Didn't have a mask. I'd go into like they have all the old houses and the barns and that kind of thing. And so each one is something different. And so I go into the baking one and I don't have my mask on. I've already spent hundreds of dollars and now I'm going into the baking section so that I can buy what I need to get there and do all of that. And the girl starts yelling at me about wearing a mask. And I said, I'm not going to do it. Well, she was the only one there. So if I wanted anything, I'd have to check out and she would have to check me out. And I looked at her and said, I'm not wearing it, not wearing the mask. And I said, I didn't have to wear it over there. I didn't have to wear it over here. I don't have to wear it here. And I said, and I know the owner, and I don't think that the owner would force me to do that. And then she started screaming, I have autoimmune disease and I've got this and I've got that. And so, obviously people had her doctors had her scared to death. The government had her scared to death. I got it. Okay. At this point, pick and choose your battles, right? So I looked at her and I said, fine, you explain to your boss why Mrs. Allard came in here, who usually spends hundreds, if not thousands of dollars and isn't purchasing anything. Cry to them about your autoimmune disease and see how that works for you. And I went and sat outside and it was funny because then other people that were in there, they're like, I'm with you. And everybody walked out. And I told the girls, I said, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you. And they were like, no, we know how you are. So, so they were
right to the point.
And I was just like, I'm not, I'm not, but that's me. So anyway, okay, let's go move on to the next one. How about New American Civil War? All right. While attempting to cross a heavily guarded border near El Paso, Texas on January 18th, 2027, you witness a group of refugees being mistreated by the guards. Intervening could put your own life in danger, but remaining silent goes against your moral principles. What would you do and how would you weigh the risk and consequences of your actions? I'm going to go last on this one.
Lucy, what do you think?
Uh-oh. She's going last. We're going to get in trouble again.
No, you won't. Nobody gets in trouble. There's like no wrong answer here.
The thing is, I would intervene.
You would?
What right do they have? What right do they really have if the refugees aren't doing it? Didn't say if they were doing anything bad or whatever. They were being treated poorly, right? Why treat them poorly if they're really not doing anything wrong? And if when somebody's doing something wrong, you don't, how can I explain that?
Lucy, are you pro open borders?
No. I know the problem they've been having down there after when Trump was putting up all the, and that's right. I here in Canada, our borders is American borders. Okay. And I don't have a problem with that. But when our government brings in refugees by the thousands through the airports, and that's the only way he was bringing them in from the East Coast and the West Coast. He didn't even give a chance for any of us to, agree or disagree or whatever. We had to accept them, and that is hard to accept. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, especially when they're not really refugees.
But I'm not going to see them if they're coming in as refugees from the other countries. I'm not going to see them get mistreated or anything because they're human beings like us, right?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And maybe they haven't chose to come.
I think LP said, I think she is alluding to the fact that while illegal, they are still human. So, and then you said that. And so, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But they're like, I'm not prejudiced or anything. We're all equal. We're all human beings, right? Whether we're black, yellow, green, red, or whatever, right? No matter what nationality.
Some of us are, but now they're saying that some of us are, but now they're saying there are aliens from outer space that are walking the earth. So
I believe it.
They live in the ocean under the water.
You don't know. Nobody knows, right? Nobody really knows.
Who knows? I've seen a lot of weird crap
put it this way. Put it this way. I'll tell you something. Put it this way. You know how over how many years they talked all about, oh, somebody saw a spaceship, there's aliens and all this and that, right?
Yeah.
Everybody thought when people talked about stuff like that, that we were all freaking loony,
Yeah.
right? My husband was coming home. He used to travel an hour to work, and he was coming home one night from work. He'd travel back and forth, and he stopped on the side of the road to go take a pee because he couldn't make it all the way home, and because he drove the back roads home. He had something like that. He came in, and I still remember this day when he walked in the door at the house. He was white as a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And people think when people have seen something like that, they think they're all loonies, but they're not. There's things out there that nobody can explain.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Unless you experience it.
How about you, little Miss Pepper?
I've been reading the chat here, and I think I'm going along almost like with everybody else. I have a hard time with, yeah, they're refugees. They're like Bushcraft said, they came over here illegally. So I have a problem with, like, yes, they're against the law, so that needs to be happening, but they are humans as well. And it's, what's that one island or place that military if they're
Guantanamo?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not like gone I can't even say the word right now. Guantanamo. There we go. We're not doing like that, but I don't.
I
If
say
I don't
that's
see someone being waterboarded, then
you would never. I don't know that you would see that. That would happen in private. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. So so is that your answer?
I think so.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you, living on the border of San Diego and Tijuana, I watched a lot of this every day of my life. And I remember one incident, and it's a little bit different, but let me get to my point. So there was a gentleman that was running. He was illegal and all of that. And the police department and the Border Patrol were after him. And what we saw as we were teenagers and kind of looked up over the gate, they were beating the crap out of him. What we saw, right? What we saw. We didn't see the whole picture, but they were beating the crap out of him. And we assumed that, one, because of the way that we saw them treating him, and he was bloody and cut up and all of that. Well, there was something that happened right before that. Yes, and you see your little P. And so the situation what happened before that, and the police officer, I said, why did you treat him like that? Why did you do that? That's absolutely uncalled for. And you could tell, like, her adrenaline was rushing and she was having a hard time, but she wanted to explain to us so that we knew they didn't just come and beat this guy down. And so she said, what happened? He came across the border. He ran from where he was supposed to be checked out and all that by Border Patrol. And as he was getting away, he was driving erratically. He ran into another vehicle that had a family, and it crashed into them, killing the family. And then he ran from that accident. So he crossed illegally. He had already immediately killed, 4 or 5 people, a family. And then, here was going out, causing more damage and all of that. And essentially what ended up happening, they stopped him before he got into a neighborhood with a bunch of teenagers, right? Families and that kind of thing. So these things happen, and we don't always know what happened before. So you have to step back and you have to think rationally about that. You also need to know, so here in America, what we're dealing with is that when they open up the borders and they did all of this stuff, the illegals are coming over and literally looking for the Border Patrol. And when they find the Border Patrol, they throw their hands up and say, I'm a refugee. I need asylum, or whatever it is, right? And so then they come in. So then they mandatorily have to take them in and then put them up in a hotel room, give them their cash so that they can eat every day on the taxpayers' dollars. Okay. So here's what I'm saying. Let's do the paperwork. Let's process them, correctly. And every single refugee should be staying. Like, let's have some kind of Guantanamo Bay. So let's put them all there, right? Let's put them on their crappy food, with all the tacos. Let's not be buying them lobsters and doing all that crap that they're not eating anyway. They're just wasting all that food. It's rotting in the hotel halls, and they're going out and they're buying tortillas and eating their crap. And so, no, I love Mexican food, so don't get me wrong, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm just trying to break this down. So let's be real responsible about this. And then let's look back. You don't know what these people have done before. We just had a man right now that on here by refugee, illegal alien. And so he comes in, and the first thing he does is go to a park and tries to rape a young lady. And when she fights him back, he kills her. Right? Yeah, I've heard story after story after story after story after story of this crap. So I'm tired of the refugee BS being used for them to get away with illegal activity. And so, yes, they're human beings. I understand it. It doesn't make them all good. And some people deserve to die, and some people deserve to be punished for what they've done, and some people deserve to live in the squalor that they themselves are helping create. So, crime has skyrocketed in the United States. It's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I say, good riddance. And I know a lot of you, I hear you, they're human beings, you got to intervene and do all that. Well, guess what? You're going to have one hell of a fight on your hands here in about 4 to 6 months if Trump gets everything through that he wants through. And if they do exactly what they say they're going to do. And I know of a lot of these people that are going in these positions and working all of this. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And so get ready, because these illegal aliens and refugees that you all say are human, they're going back. They're getting deported.
Yep.
And so that's exactly what needs to happen to them. But I just say before I would intervene with anything like that, and it's because of a lesson that I learned. Plus, my son being a police detective and that kind of thing, I hear his stories and, who says what and what happens and, with his friends and all that. You can't judge off of what you just caught a glimpse of.
Yeah.
So be real careful.
There's two sides to everything.
Right. So be real careful. Interjecting is what I would say. But I don't know. I wouldn't intervene. I would just leave it as it is. It's not my place, and it's not what is one person going to do against how many guards. So
no, I agree with you. Yeah,
if they're protecting a whole sector over that border, there's more than one of them. There's nothing I'm going to do. Pick and choose your battles. Pick and choose them. And I think during chaos like this, you're going to have to. You're going to have to be able to pick and choose your battles. And I don't know. And here's the other thing. This is like my favorite thing right now. And don't cause unnecessary work for anybody else. So does you intervening, and those are criminals that they're trying to stop and that they're trying to get under control and all of that. You intervening, you have just now taken the attention off of who they were trying to get under control. And you now have distracted the guards. They're looking at you. You just caused them more work, because who knows what those people are going to do. At this point, they're probably going to run. They're going to try to get away and all of that. And you're going to be left holding the bag. So there's that. My opinion. So,
yeah.
All right. So let's see. Let's go here. We're going to go to pandemic. All right. So in 2026, a highly contagious and deadly pandemic hits New York City, causing widespread panic and economic devastation. As a nurse working in a hospital that has run out of personal protective equipment, PPE, you have the option to quit and save yourself, or stay and risk your life to save others. What would you do? Now, remember, all of these cards were written pre-pandemic, so they did not know what was going to happen. This actually happened. Ashley, can you remember that? You remember that scenario, what happened with the PPE?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, tell me, what would you do? Would you quit? What would you do? Keep working, risk your life?
I would probably quit.
Okay.
And then also, I think if it's in New York City, cut down the bridges and everybody can just die in there.
Took me a minute. I was reading Skane's Girl without my glasses, like squinting, trying to see what she said. So,
See, during the pandemic, I had, when my son was married, his wife was working in a hospital. And she told me how she had to come home. What they had to go through, even my son, before they could even enter into their house because of where she worked and because of what she had to go through. And it was horrific what they had to go through to be able to be home in their own home, because they had to use their garage and the kids weren't allowed in the garage, and they had to strip down in their garage every day they came home. Their clothes had to go in the special bags and everything, and they had to have it specially cleaned and everything. They went, yeah, it was just, but she
Actually,
continued working. Oh,
Almost, man.
Yeah, that's funny. And then you got to get the response.
I went to Barnes and Noble and asked if they had Trump's new book on illegal immigrant policy. The lady said, "Get the hell out of here and don't come back." Oh God!
Okay, now read that one.
I said, "That's the one. Do you have it in paperback?"
Oh, that's funny.
Oh God, I'm so
yeah. I know. I would. If there was no protection, no more protection, no more whatever what you had to wear and everything, because I know a few people that have went through it and went through hell and lost some lives. Yeah, no, I would just walk away from it all.
Okay.
Because me and my family's number one. I wouldn't want to bring that back to my family.
Tamara says, I don't have to answer the question. They already know me. You know what I would do.
Hey,
Moose Man.
Tamara and I found her on Facebook after Friday, from Saturday night. Yeah. This morning we talked, I think it was 2.5 hours. We talked back and forth on Facebook. It was so much fun.
You said those were beets, and I thought it was rutabaga. And then she peeled it open, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe it is beets. And then you told her one way to cook it. I told her a different way to cook it. So I don't know which one she's going to do. Maybe she tried both. But yeah, no.
Well, she told me, she texted me back that she had it in a skillet. Right. And she was eating them out of the skillet. I said, mine, I eat them out of the skillet. They never make it to my plate.
Yeah, that's funny. Garen does not like beets with a passion. Okay, so getting back to the question, so this actually happened in the U.S. I know it did in our area, and so the protection ran out, and so what they were doing is they were actually, like, this totally makes zero sense. So the N95 is what you need. It's the only one that is the best one, right? That you can wear, but you can only wear those for so many hours, and then they're done. You have to have a new one. And so because the quality of what it does gets, lower and lower. Well, what they were making them do, they were actually making them put them in sanitizer, sanitizing station, sanitize everything, and rewear them. So, like, at this time, if you had to have a surgery or anything like that, like, I mean, you just freaked out because you knew they had dirty masks and that kind of thing, and they weren't completely sanitary in there. Then they started bringing over the crap from China, so we were getting all that crap. Remember those stupid masks that you put it on, and it's like putting a diaper on your face, and then get that in there, you couldn't breathe. Then it started making kids very sick. And when they started testing all of these masks and doing all of that, because they were catching up on the equipment and making sure that there was enough to go all through the United States, they started testing some of these children's masks and the amount of bacteria and fungus and all of that was in there. So now there's a lot of high levels of new asthma and things like that coming up. And it's actually, I heard somebody call it COVID lung. And so I'm like, wow, okay, so now this is a thing. So everything we were saying why we wouldn't do it, this is what was going on. In reality, had they just stayed calm and not freaked out and got nasty and all of that, I know people were sick. All you needed to do was wash your hands and not touch your face. And as long as you had good hygiene and you took care of it, the probability of you getting sick was 0 to none. Really, who needed to protect themselves would have been the patient themselves. You would have needed to figure out, they should have had a guard on so that when they're coughing, their spit and saliva isn't throwing out into the air, into your eyes, and that kind of thing. It's just, yeah, Skane's girl, fresh air works wonders. And so, go out in the fresh air, and you want to, make sure that breathe in like you're smelling the flowers, and then breathe out super harsh, and you really get that fluid up and out of your lungs. And you need to be up and walking around and doing that kind of thing. If you know the protocols and you know what you need to do to keep yourself healthy, there was no reason to freak out over this at all, and now as it comes out, we're talking about a virus. We're not even talking about anything that you can actually get a vaccine for. It's not a damn disease. And so, and I saw a comment up higher earlier. And the Nightmare 3 is getting ready to come out. Of course it is, because Trump's coming into office. So that's how it works. So Tamber, I have COPD. I got the C and pneumonia from it. Yeah. But then let's see, LP Techno and NBC filter is Damien's only good for about 48 hours. People wear masks over and over. Yeah, they did. And so, it was just terrible, absolutely terrible. They made people sicker than trying to keep everybody healthy. And so just terrible. But this is what happens when you have a bunch of people in charge trying to make mandates and doing everything that have no freaking clue what they're talking about. When really what should have happened, instead of asking people, how would you like to keep your funding? Are you going to make your hospital go ahead and shut down? Are you going to make your hospital go ahead and take these patients? And if you take these patients, we're going to give you, if you get them on a ventilator, we're going to give you $30,000 per patient extra. And if you give them a diagnosis of COVID, then I think that one was something like 18,000, somewhere in there. And so this is what happened. So it was, people were paid out, hospitals were paid out to take money to make this even worse situation than what it needed to be. And quite frankly, I would be very curious to know what the true positive numbers were, because I don't think they're accurate. And even to this day, those tests are not accurate. Well, my God, I can't even get a strep culture to come back positive when I know I have freaking strep throat. So I know they're not accurate. So let's just see how many true cases there actually were and that kind of thing. They can't do it because they didn't keep track of anything. They were just wanting the ones that were dead and the ones that they could kill and unlive, only the ones that they could unlive. But yeah,
I know some people here made their own masks where they had they put their own filtering system in where, and when they wore it the first time, even if they were only out a half an hour or whatever, they'd go back home. And this is what they explained to me. They'd take the filters out. They'd made their own filters and everything. And then they'd wash the mask, and then it'd be clean, and then they'd be able to wear it again. But
putting the same
if they went into a certain place, they weren't allowed to wear it. They had to wear what the government put out there. They had to take and throw their masks in the garbage.
Sure, because they were trying to make it, because and all of it was
make the money.
And so it was all from China. It was all a setup. It just craziness to me. Anyway, that's not the last time we're going to see it. It's coming again. But now what we have to do is we have to remember what happened. We have to remember the signs. We have to remember the pattern so that when it happens again, you don't fall into that same scenario of everything that's going on.
Damn right.
If that means that you all are going to shut yourselves up in your houses and I can go shopping wherever I want and I can go to the zoo, not have people around me, I can go wherever freely. If I want to, take whatever Sunday or a Tuesday morning, Sunday drive, and not be stuck in traffic parked on the highway, go for it. Totally go for it. I really enjoyed that. I really. So, but anyway, I as soon as they opened everything back up, it was back to parking on the highway for 3 hours.
Yep.
That's so emergency preparedness basics. In case of a prolonged emergency, have you thought about a renewable source or skill you could provide in exchange for what you need in a barter type economy? I'll let you ladies take that one. and I'll be right back. Maybe.
No,
wants
I
to
would
go?
barter for learning new skills.
No,
I'm
you
always
need to
wanting to
learn new
learn something
skills.
new, a different trade.
You would
New
need.
skills for what?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Okay, so let me reread this. All right. In
Yeah.
case of a prolonged emergency, have you thought about a renewable source or skill you yourself could provide in exchange for what you need in a barter type economy? What can you train somebody on?
I feel like for me, I think a lot of people that I would want to barter with already know quite a bit of what I know. And then I'm thinking on in that same situation, I'm thinking there's no electricity working. So what I know as a dog groomer, I probably don't think I could teach somebody much. Maybe I can teach a little bit of here and there because I know I am full on knowing dog grooming and all that. But I feel like if other people I would think in certain situations they would already know how to, if they're bartering with me, they would already know how to garden, know how to hunt, fish, all that. I'm assuming so. So
Yeah.
I don't know much what I would be able to teach them except for just a little bit of, if they have a dog with hair, I could teach them how to cut their dog's hair.
Well, see, with me, it's depending, depending on what they had to barter with, and depending on what they wanted to, what they already know, and if depending on what they want to learn, if I had the skills to teach them something that they don't know, it's a perfect bartering tool, really. But it depends on because there's a lot of skills that I didn't know, and I went out and I just started learning them myself and teaching myself different things. Like I've been learning electrical, I've been learning, how to do plumbing, I've been learning how to build. Well, my father was a carpenter. But if there was like you say, Ashley, about most of the people, well, not depending on what type of person it is, if they really know about gardening, the best thing to do is ask them. Ask them what they don't, ask them what they don't know or what they want to learn. And if you have the ability to, you can tell them straight out, you can show them, you can teach them, or you can say, no, I'm not familiar with that area. And,
I think this is in advance.
I don't know.
So I think the question is in advance. So what have you thought of learning in order in a new skill or trade in order to be able to barter in the future? Ashley, did you answer yet?
Yeah, I was actually very unsure because I feel like someone that I'm already wanting to barter with, they would already know quite a bit of I do. Unless I need to learn something, because one thing I am really would like to learn is veterinarian stuff. And also I could then help out with their animals if I learn this situation.
Yeah, so then you could update it into animal husbandry, and that that would be a great new skill to learn to go forward. I wouldn't mind learning welding. I've thought about this, and I know a lot of farmers and ranchers need it in the welding area. I would like to learn how to weld. The people that I know can teach me are extremely busy right now, so who knows when that's going to happen, but we'll see. But yeah, I thought about that, and so Well, guys, we're at 8:37, so I still have banana
I
bread.
think we've done pretty good. How many cards did we go through? How
We
many
went through
scenarios did we go through?
10. We went through every scenario. We did 10
And
cards.
nobody
Oh, that's
got
good.
the words.
Yeah, we had a winner. So Tamber
Well,
Smith.
because you were like your own little word.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We may have to go through those words.
So
and
Tamber
see
won?
we may have to go through those words and see exactly what they are backstage, and then see if we need to change them around, because there has been some good answers that came in. They're just not those words. So
Yeah, and actually, I was reading one of the comments really good because I'm like, oh, wait, is that a word? And then I looked and I'm like, no, that's not a word. But I thought it could have been a word.
yeah, if the statement, I'll say this, if the statement is close enough to the word, G and I have let that pass as well. So
Oh.
Yeah. If it's the like if it's their statement is explaining and it's in a different way, but it pertains to that word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm noticing that regionally, everybody's got different words for things. So, and,
Yeah.
yeah. See, even
AA
like,
Canadian AA.
Yeah, Skeins even says Wilding's on her list too.
Bad
Yeah,
girl.
so, yeah, Tamara, you got community typed in real quick. I needed the first one. And Rabbit had already won. She's like, give it to Skeins. If she didn't have one, Skeins does have
Darn, I
one.
should have been in there. I would have had it first. I've
I've
been telling my daughter and my son-in-law about this game, eh?
Yeah.
Because they love trivia game. They love trivia games.
Yeah.
And survival games. It was
Right.
freaking hell. And I'm trying to explain it all. And
okay, so I will say this. So I think that's fair too. So we'll have JD send you a deck of cards as well. And because I think that's fair. You were on the panel. You didn't know what it was getting right. Well, you did know, obviously. You started to say it. But yeah, you had no way to type it in. You usually do. And so anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, because I've never seen I don't know what the word list is.
Yeah,
no, she doesn't.
And actually, we did that to Bug Out Adventures too. She had the word and was on the panel. And Tambra, yes, you did win.
Yeah,
like no way.
Yeah.
Way to go, Tambra.
Yeah. Because I don't know how hard it. I just don't know. It is so incredibly important to build community right now. It just is. You guys have to figure it out. It's so important.
I know I have to go back down to have tea with my neighbor down here because she's been because I was sick and I didn't know what was happening with me. That's why, because she's got a little boy that she homeschools, and we've been trying to get together, talking about community and gardening, and she's all down to earth and she wants to learn more. Right? She was going through as a horticulturalist, and she didn't finish all her classes and everything, but she still wants to get into. She believes what we do is 100%.
Yeah. Hey, Skeins, can you go in and dump in? Well, not dump in, but link in All American Preppers channel and
Crooked Little Homesteads.
Crooked Little Homesteads, please. Link those and throw them into my feed, please. And I think she can do yours too, Ashley, can she? So then she could drop my Crooked Little Homestead on hers too. So I don't know. You girls keep me on here so long when we play this game. It was only 10 cards. We talked a little bit though before, so
yeah, we do.
Yeah. So
I think we do pretty good.
Yeah. One thing I want to ask y'all real quick. So Thursday is Thanksgiving. Do y'all want to do it or no?
No.
I'm gonna have
you guys be with your family.
My grandbabies.
You be with your family.
Coming. Yes, ma'am. My grandbabies are coming. So no, I love y'all. Maybe we'll do a quick little short just to say happy Thanksgiving. But no, my time is with my kiddos and my grandbabies.
That's what I was thinking as well.
You guys be with your families. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
100%.
Right. Yeah. I guess Skeins is not going to get that in here. She may have gone off.
Oh, and most men don't know how to do that.
Yeah. If you just go to
there's Skeins did mine.
Okay, there you go. So there's one. So she's on it. Let's just give her a minute for a little bit. So yeah, I'll just say enjoy. I think Thursday night around here is when they start turning on all the Christmas lights. Lights at the zoo is already going, and so I was going to take the kids to do that, but man, I'm freezing tonight, and it's just going to get colder and colder. So I don't think I'm going to take the grandbabies out there in this.
But I watched Miss Lippy. I follow Miss Lippy.
Uh-huh.
And I watched her video this morning, her one video that because she usually does a whole thing of the weekend in her garden and everything. And the Sunday video had cut short. They were broken into, and a whole bunch of the neighbors were all broken into. He had, Buddy had his, because they didn't lock their vehicles, and his work truck, he had his work laptop in there and everything was taken.
Yeah.
But then they found it down at the neighbors, spread everywhere, but there's still stuff missing. There was firearms taken from some of the neighbors and a whole bunch of stuff.
Whoa.
So now instead their greenhouse is on hold, and he's finishing all the fencing all the way around the property. And now they don't feel safe. So like she said, like we say, keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
watch your surroundings. And so now they're locking everything up.
Yeah.
They don't feel safe.
You got to keep your head on the swivel. You need to start locking your doors if you're not. And you know, thing is, it's just going to get worse. The economy, it did not automatically get fixed just because Trump was voted in. And you know, it's going to take time. And you know, some things get worse before they get better. So there's that.
Yep.
But yeah. All right. Well, we've got a ticket.
Anyway, you guys have a good Thanksgiving.
You too. Oh yeah, and you don't have.
No, not me.
Sorry.
I'll be thinking of you, and I'll be picturing you all eating all that different type of stuffing, which I'm going to learn how to make cornbread stuffing.
Yeah.
And I'd love to try it because I've never eaten cornbread.
Get out.
So
really?
I want to try all that.
Wow, really?
Well, I have a toast. I don't have an oven. I have a toaster oven that my sister-in-law gave me, and it burnt my cake. It doesn't work right half. So when I go to Costco's with my daughter, I told her I'm going to look for another one and buy an updated one. This one's an old, big, huge old thing. I said, I'll get an updated one and then I can cook.
Mm-hmm.
I've never tried to make cornbread on my wood stove. So I don't know how, in my black skillet, I don't know how that would work out. But anyway, you guys have a good, safe Thanksgiving and go live a life done free.
All right. Thank you, Lucy. And
love you all.
Yeah. You all have a good Thanksgiving, and be at least 1% tomorrow. Be at least 1% better tomorrow than you were today. And y'all take care of yourselves.
Have a blessed Thanksgiving, everybody. And you ladies as well. Have a good one. And we will see everybody on Monday. We will do another World Without Rule of Law. So be ready to join in with your comments on these scenarios, and we will see everybody on Monday.
That'll work. See y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.